been working on this case for over a month. Mr. Chen is in jail in China. You all know the details, where he is and where he isn't. You're probably more familiar with that part of China, which than I am. But the whole crux of the story is, why is the federal government of Canada not asking the Chinese authorities to expedite the case of Mr. Chen, as well as assist him to come back home? And that's very simply done. If the government of Canada has a particular interest in a case of a Canadian stuck abroad in jail, they issue a diplomatic note, which is a letter country to country requesting that the Canadian citizen be brought back to Canada and pushing the local authorities to expedite the case, be it in court or in other matters. In the case of Mr. Chen, it took me over a month to get information for External Affairs. External Affairs and the Office of Helena Gerges was not very cooperative to give us information. We now know that there's no diplomatic note to the Chinese. This is an official letter from the government of Canada asking that the Canadian citizen be returned home. We also know that there is, in the opposite of frequent, which is once in a while Mr. Chen gets visited by Canadian officials, the state of Mr. Chan's health is not the best. Mr. Chan's family is worried and sick about him. Ms. Chen graduated, and the father was not here at the daughter's graduation. As a father of 5 daughters, there's nothing more important, there's nothing more sacred than a father to be at the moment of a child's graduation. In our lives, we have milestones. We get married, we become a father or a mother. We see our child go to school for the first time. We see the child graduate in grade 6. We see the child graduate in grade 8. We see the child graduating in high school. But there's nothing more important than to watch a daughter or a son going down the aisle of a university to be graduated. But Ms. Chen did not have her father with her when she graduated. And this is very simple. What the government of Canada has to do: issue a diplomatic letter and work with the Chinese authorities, push the Chinese authorities for a speedy resolution on this case.
Just to follow up, really want to thank Member of Parliament Chen Karygiannis for stepping forward in what I feel is really an important issue for all Canadians, and particularly potentially Canadians of Chinese descent. Where you hold a Canadian passport, it means that the government has certain responsibilities to you. And when you look at our Constitution or Charter, there's a whole concept of protection of multiculturalism, protection of all Canadians. I'm extremely concerned that the failure of the Canadian government to step forward or to even issue a simple diplomatic note on behalf of this gentleman who is now being detained, who is in a situation where we're awaiting a decision on a trial that was held in one-day trial over 6 months ago, which even by the Chinese government legal system is totally unusual. There's just a lot of things that are totally inappropriate about what has transpired. And even under these circumstances, we've not had the government step forward in any fashion in trying to assist. In many ways, I think it's certainly a slap in the face for the family of Mr. Chen, but it also is in many ways a slap in the face for the Chinese community here in Canada, who are now in a position where wherever you travel internationally, you're going to have to question yourself, if something was to happen to me, not just in China, but in many of the other parts of the world as you conduct business, is my government going to be there for me? Is my government going to be there to help me? And that's a critical question that that we would like to know and to have that assurance. Basically, anyone that's here. Mr. Chen did forego his Chinese citizenship. He is a citizen of Canada. The government has responsibilities for him, and we're concerned that nothing has transpired today. It really is something that all Canadians, as I said, all individuals of Chinese descent should be concerned about. This is not a political issue. This is not an issue to say anything in terms of political abuse of human rights. It's simple, a commercial transaction that we feel a major corporation is utilizing its power and exerting that power to keep this government in jail. And in many ways, I think this is a unique opportunity for the Chinese government to show their commitment towards doing what's right and would have a major benefit for them. And also a unique opportunity again for the Canadian government to show that they intend to protect all citizens, whether you're a naturalized citizen, which means that you came to Canada and obtained citizenship, or whether you're born here in Canada. Our goal right now, since the government has done nothing, is to essentially try and mobilize the public to assist. There is an online petition, and we have over a few thousand people that have already signed on that petition. But more important, we're extremely fortunate that Federal Member of Parliament Jim Karygiannis is now prepared to step forward and to actually go to China and assist us in getting Mr. Chen's release, or at least carrying on the dialogue that the Canadian government has failed to do today. And that's the essence of our message, that we do need the public's support and assistance as Mr. Karygiannis moves forward in assisting us in this regard.